Franklin, the audio is you're getting audio, right? Okay. Again, thank you everyone for joining us today. This is the first official launch of Together We Win, a panel series and experience focusing on Black women and women of color within the live entertainment production spaces. Today we have a full panel of Howard alum as well as our special guests. We also have we'll have a full set alum that will be here with me in person. Actually, I'm going to introduce Miss Ashley Lomax. Oh,
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody here. Hi, everybody in the internet world.
okay. So we have a full panel for everyone today. Actually, let's bring up our panelists, and at first, let's bring up our host, Miss Shayla. Y'all can see. You guys can see, right? Good. Okay. We have Miss Shayla McIntyre, who is a Howard alum as well as a wholesale alum. Say wholesale alum. Shayla has been working with me. I've worked with her. We've collaborated a few times, and now I am just glad to be able to bring her to one of my productions as she has brought me to hers. So everyone, welcome, Shayla.
Hello. Hi, everybody. It's awesome to be here. Awesome to be hosting and or co-hosting this event. Excuse me. I am a proud 2006 Howard University Music Business Classical Voice graduate, 2008. From Full Sail, got my master's in entertainment business. I have the pleasure of sitting at the intersection between music, ministry, and media. And I truly believe in the power of community and collective action. So I'm excited about hosting the panel today. Can you all hear me okay? Awesome. So, introducing the rest of our panelists, of course, you all have already met my girl, Noelle Jordan, who is an internationally touring lighting director, production manager, and creator and host of What's Up Roadie, which is where we are live streaming for today. She's originally from Staten Island, New York, but raised in Newark. She discovered her passion for lighting at Howard in fine arts, and she has worked with phenomenal artists, including PJ Morton, who's one of my faves, Glorilla, Busta Rhymes, Fantasia, Meek Mill, the Isley Brothers, and the list continues to go on. She's worked in arenas, theaters, festivals, stadiums, everywhere around the world. And beyond the stage, she's passionate about mental health and mentoring others and hosting honest conversations about sustainability through tour life. So she's a valuable resource. I also found out a fun fact that she is one of only 5 Black female touring lighting designers in the world. So shout out to her for being amazing, but thank you all for showing up to support her. Let's give her a round of applause.
Maybe not 5, but it's definitely 1%.
Right.
But
five or less, or less than 10.
Yeah.
It's only a few of y'all. Next, I will go ahead and introduce Miss Joyce, and she's there with you in person. Oh, no, I'm sorry, Joyce. Joyce was with us online. So Joyce is a production designer and art director. She is class of 2015, I believe, College of Fine Arts. She is a multidisciplinary art director and production designer who transforms environments into immersive stories. She's originally from Louisville, Kentucky, and trained at DuPont Manual High School Performing Arts School before coming to Howard with a focus on set design. Her recent credits include being the art director for CultureCon 2025 in Brooklyn, where she designed the VIP portrait studios, cultural icons including Jennifer Hudson, Taraji P. Henson, Cam Newton, and Jesse Williams. Her portfolio spans music, videos, brand activations, scenic design, and so much more, including work with Meg Thee Stallion, Travis Scott, and Toby. I'm not going to say his last name right, so I'm not even going to try. Yes. what she said. Her fun fact is that she is a part of the small and elite group of Black women in the scenic and production design world who design, draft, build, and dress their own stages from concept to completion. So please give her a round of applause. So next up, I'll toss to Dr. Kathy A. Perkins. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Dr. Kathy is our OG on the panel for today because she told me I wasn't the most seasoned person on the call. She is a theatrical lighting designer, Howard University Fine Arts class of 1976, and she is one of the most decorated theatrical lighting designers in American history. Outside of being an alum from Howard, she also graduated from the University of Michigan. She has designed lighting for Broadway, off-Broadway, and regional theaters across the nation, including Arena Stage, Steppenwolf, Goodman, and the Yale Repertory. Her international work spans the globe from South Africa to Switzerland to Cuba and Canada. She is an editor of 7 anthologies and has received an NAACP Image Award, amongst so many others, including a Fulbright and NEH fellowships. And she serves as professor emeritus at both the University of Illinois and the University of North Carolina. Her fun fact is that she is the second Black member of the United Scenic Artists of the USA. And this is a union that represents designers in film, television, and theater. So we are honored to have you joining us today. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. I'd like to make a correction. I'm the second Black woman to design on Broadway, not lighting on Broadway, not to be in the union.
Thank you for correcting me on that. But we are honored to have you with us. Next
Excited
up,
to be here.
no problem. Next up, we have Crescent Haynes. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Crescent is a sound designer and live audio engineer, Howard University Fine Arts class of 2012. She is a force in design and live audio. She graduated with her bachelor's in fine arts in theater arts technology and has an impressive list of credits spanning theater, music, touring, and her sound design work includes productions at Woolly Mammoth, the Onley Theater, the Kennedy Center, Everyman Theater, and the Dallas Theater Center, among a dozen of others. She is currently touring as an audio engineer and has traveled the world with everyone from, I'm going to say this name possibly wrong, Rhiannon Giddens. Is that how you say that? Okay, close enough. Shout out to me for learning English. And Hai Lung, is that how you say? Awesome. She is also a visual artist whose work fills spaces that she inhabits. She is currently working towards transitioning to a full-time fine artist as a creative director in the fine art space and expanding her practice beyond the stage. So thank you so much for joining us today, Crescent. Thank you. Only a few more people to introduce. Little Miss Ashley Lomax, who is on stage, is a singer and songwriter and touring professional who has served as a mentor for over 20 years in the music industry. She's based in the DMV and works as a tour manager, production coordinator, and back-of-house professional on major domestic and international tours, and has worked with the likes of a few people you might know. Janet Jackson, Kanye West, Pink, Lauryn Hill, Maxwell, and so many more. She released her debut album and maintains an active performance career in the region. And beyond her own artistry, she spent more than 5 years helping to mentor emerging creatives through the Grammy U program and the Well Done Foundation. She has also been photographed by one of her bucket list photographers, which was Humans of New York, which is a big deal. If you follow them on social media, I think they're the coolest around. But yeah, welcome to the stage, Ashley.
Thanks for having.
Thank you. And then we have two good friends of mine, some men to break up the feminine energy on today. First, I will introduce Steve-O, the producer. So Steve should be coming to the stage online in just a second. But Steve is an arranger, a producer, a director, and he is originally from the DMV. His resume reads much like a highlight reel of some of the most watched moments in entertainment. His television credits include the most recent NFL Super Bowl, working with the Emmy-nominated Lizzo live on HBO special, Saturday Night Live, Billboard, BET, American Music, Soul Train, iHeart, SAG, MTV Music Awards. All of the stages, Steve has been there or works with artists who have been there, and his arrangements have been heard from coast to coast, sea to shining sea. He's also worked on multiple Disney holiday specials and collaborated with artists including Doja Cat, Rihanna, Sabrina Carpenter, and most notably to me, Coco Jones. He also serves as the director, the university director and head of commercial music studies at California Baptist University, where we believe he's the only university chairman and director of a collection of degree programs in the nation to actually simultaneously work full-time in the industry. So he is a jewel to have on the panel today, and he is coming to bring a wealth of knowledge and answer all of the questions. So thanks for joining us, Steve-O.
Thank you for the invite.
And then last but not least, a great, great, great friend of mine. You all may know him as Mr. This Is Why I Love You, but I just call him Mage. But his name is Major. Yes, that is what his mother named him. We go back a little ways, so I know him well. Major is an American singer, actor, and storyteller, and hope dealer, whose debut hit, Why I Love You, went platinum. Is it not multi-platinum at this point? Am I speaking in the future? No, somewhere over the platinum number somewhere. With 500 million digital streams, 4 independent solo projects, massively recognized network television appearances, national tours, and all of the things. He also is the founder and creator of the Major Hope Foundation and is one of the most compelling voices in gospel and soul music. His most recent EP, The Hope of My Soul, blends soul, gospel, Americana, music all in a way that only Major can. He's a 2-time Soul Train Award winner, a Grammy Award winner, and a 9-time NAACP Image Award nominee. Whew, that's a lot of accolades, sir. But he boldly leads with hope in all that he does. He is a wealth of knowledge and joy and light and comedy, if you know him well. I would say Major's fun fact. I don't know, Major, what is your fun fact?
That I don't like visible eggs, but
Sir, what?
yeah. If it's visible, I'm not eating it, but clearly almost everything requires eggs to be good. So
That is hilarious. Well, now we know Major's fun fact is that he needs you to mix his eggs into something else.
And also, slight correction, I've been nominated for all of those things. Nominated. I haven't yet won my Grammy or Soul Train. I've been nominated multiple times. So
Well,
that's a fun fact.
Where I come from, we speak the things as though we know they will be. But
Excellent.
I understand reality at the same time. So thank you all again for joining us today. Today we're talking about touring, burnout, and breaking barriers. We have a massively powerful panel here. So I hope that you all, as students in the room and those watching online, will take the opportunity to connect with each and every one of the people on this call. I see there are a few people watching us online. Take the time to go to YouTube right now. Search for what's up, Brody? Yep,
Yes.
@ What's Up, Brody, and share this with a friend. Text it to somebody. Have them watch it later. But yeah, so let's jump right on in. I am going to open up with the very first question, and this question is for everyone. Who are you beyond your title? And what do you feel keeps you grounded in this industry? And we can kick it off with Noelle and Ashley.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Of course you want me to start. What keeps me grounded in a lot of this? I'm a big person that's into travel before any of this, so the opportunity to see the world has been a focus of mine. Every tour cycle, I try to do something different. Sometimes it's lakes, sometimes it's museums, sometimes it's the ballet, but I make a very purposed effort to cross that country and see what I can see. What keeps me grounded in a lot of it is, in this weird way, it's become silence in a world where I'm in a lot of noise with tens of thousands of people about 6 times a day, 6 days a week for about 17 hours a day at best. So what keeps me grounded a lot of times is breathing room and getting a chance to actually catch outside. I've become way more of an outside person with all the touring because we're in buildings so often and I don't know what time it is because it's whatever light you have in here. So I try to take the purposed effort to go outside.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a great one. For me, I would say how I stay grounded, try to stay grounded on the road. Similar, like if I'm traveling the country, if we're on a coastline, I'm looking for the water. I'm going to the beach. I actually have one of my tour managers here with us, Jason, who has his captain's license. And when we were in California, we had a show in LA and had a couple of days off. He was just like, "Hey, you want to go? We're going to go ride a boat." And I was like, "Well, what?" I was like, "Well, who's going to drive it?" He was like, "I am." I was like, "Huh?" But he was like, we're gonna go out. We got to get out there, make it see the sunset. And it was perfect. And that's really like where I find my peace on the road. I'm also big on my naps.
Mm.
Like anyone that tours with me knows, as soon as
you nodded.
as soon as the show file is saved and ready to go for the day, everybody knows Noelle's going to the bus. That is my happy place, especially if I'm with someone that is doing a meet and greet. The bus is empty. So that's my happy place. I take naps. I schedule my naps and everyone knows it. It's in my rider.
It is in a rider. I'm presently learning to get scuba certified to scuba dive. So that's going to be the new addition to my days off. I'm leaving everybody behind now.
I love that. You ladies are giving us nuggets already. Naps are gold. So tossing to our virtual audience, we'll go backwards. We'll do Major, Kathy, Crescent, Steve-O, and then Joyce.
Well, I will say I'm learning the benefit of a good nap. I definitely think age kind of teaches you that and also commands it, that pace is grace. So that's definitely something that I'm leaning into all the more. Family and faith are my grounders for sure. I definitely don't want to ever displease the heart of my maker by moving in a way that I know better, and oftentimes from being a front man in this business, you often can get put on pedestal and be celebrated and inflated, and it can be beyond reality to where you get with the people that really know you and they're like, come back down. So my faith and my family, my wife, help me to stay grounded. I've seen far too many people win and lose because they got too caught up in the win that they forgot that there's always room for more or less. Yeah.
I stay grounded. Speaking of age, as I get older, I really pay attention to my health, resting, the way I eat. I love to walk. I walk 4 miles a day, even if I'm on the road. I'm not on the road like you guys. The type of theater I do, I'm in one place for like 2 weeks or so, but the hours are still long. But I have to make myself stop. I'm not going to work after 12, 13 hours, learning how to say no. That's something that has taken me a while. If we're not done today, we'll just finish what we can tomorrow. But in having faith in God has been even more important for me as I get older. So those are things that are keeping me grounded.
Hey y'all. Yeah, similar to what has been said, family. Family for sure. My faith in God for sure. For me, honestly, my goals kind of keep me grounded. It's so much work that needs to be done, so much that I want to do. It kind of just keeps me humble and keeps me remembering my mission, my purpose. Yeah, and I'm big on solitude. That's how I recharge. I escape. I keep to myself a lot and just recharge so I can be around the people.
I think I'm next. Yeah, for me, man, I think outside of my industry and my discipline, I'm a human first, a son second, a brother and a friend third and fourth, and a leader outside of entertainment, outside of that. So in that order, those are the things that I try to keep in alignment and in that particular priority list. I'm a huge family person. I come from a massive family. My dad has 9 siblings and my mom has 10 or so. So being away from them has really challenged my peace a bit because I live in Los Angeles. I'm from DC, in the Howard area, so to speak. We're all from Georgia Avenue. So that that separation kind of plays a part into my mental health, which is what we're going to talk about today a bit. So making sure that I stay connected to my roots and my family is a big deal for me. And I'll also say, outside of my industry, I'm just a person learning how to be at peace with who I am when nothing is being demanded of me. Because when there's no deadlines, no expectations, no performance, um, it's hard to find your value system. Because in my space in the industry, you get used to being valued for what you do and not who you are. So creating the proper separation between those two things is probably how I stay grounded the most. And I think when I was really trying to find my footing in the business, I was running from monotony. So is that my time's up?
I don't know what that means. You just have holy background music. I don't know. Keep it going.
All right.
We're good. Sorry, pardon everyone.
No worries.
Just having some.
You can continue to answer. Resuming on that side.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's great.
So I was just gonna say that when I first got into the business, I was probably running from monotony, so I didn't need a lot of balance at the time because I've worked up the capacity to really prove myself. But at this point in my life, I just enjoy finding friends who don't have anything to do with my industry, and that's kind of how I ground myself a bit. So I'll pause there because I can keep going, but that's my answer to my identity and my groundwork.
Hello, everyone. So I basically am in agreement with all of y'all. My faith is one thing that will carry me, ground me, keep me going. It's so many times where I'm like, all right, God, I'm supposed to be doing this. What you got me doing? And so having those conversations and talks with God and my family. But one thing I've noticed over the past 3 years, especially since I've been on as an independent contractor working for myself, is going to sleep. Like, y'all are cute with the naps, but I have to go straight to sleep and actually get rest because it's times where I just wake up and I'm like, that's how I'm going to rig it, or that's how I'm going to design it, or that's the tools that I'm going to use. But I know it doesn't come from me pulling, the 3 nights in a row or whatever it is. So definitely getting my rest and then checking in with God to be like, all right, is this it? So.
Shayla, you're muted.
Yeah, you're muted, Shayla.
Shout out to the unmute button. I was gonna say thank you all for
I did have one thing to add to the grounding for me. I have board buddies. So this is when I'm lighting and I have my console and I'm traveling on the road. Sometimes you need a physical reminder. So I have like this collection of little Sesame Street toys. You kind of see it.
Oh, I didn't even bring
That's
back.
Big Bird.
So this
about
is
it.
my board buddy. This one is Big Bird. I have 2 others that really stay with me. I have an Elmo and an Oscar. And so my Oscar, I tell everyone that reminds me not to be a grouch. and then Elmo reminds me to laugh. And if you see me like kind of rubbing my Oscar, that's the code to stay away. I'm trying to not be a grouch. So yeah, physical reminder
Yeah, I
is
didn't.
also grounding.
Yeah, that is true. I've got an Instagram for my little figurine because he means more to people than I ever will. It's and I mean it. I'm a Buddhist and I love Batman, and it's Buddha's body with Batman's head on it. It's a little and literally his Instagram is Bat Buddha. He's been in the hands of photos of far more people than people have taken pictures with me. It's now so many years later that people will see me and be like, "Oh my God, so good to see you. Where is he?" Because it's now so many years of I'm not asking you for no photo. If you want one, you got it. But I forget that that's sort of a grounding thing of all these touring years. 'Cause I got it the first day that I toured my first tour on the bus, and it's been around the world ever since.
I love that so much. So now we're going to popcorn a little bit. I'm going to ask some direct questions to a few of you all, starting with Miss Kathy. Miss Kathy, have you ever been the only one in the room? And what did it feel like to you? And how did you navigate it as one of our first, second, influencers in the industry? How did you overcome?
You know what? I've been in this business for 50 years, and a large part of my career, I've always been the only person in the room. And I think being at Howard gave me the confidence to just deal with any situation. I mean, when I remember when I was getting ready to leave Howard, Mr. Dines, many of you all don't remember him. He used to run Crampton Auditorium. He was like my advisor. And he said, when you leave here, you are no longer going to be around a bunch of Black people. You're going to be probably the only Black person in the room with white men. And so, working with him, talking with him gave me the confidence, I can go into any room and I can just deal with it. I mean, early on, yes, it was uncomfortable. But over time, I just dealt with it. And I think as I get older, I think I make white people uncomfortable when I walk in the room. So it's kind of a nice feeling sometimes. Anyway.
That's okay.
So no, I'm used to it. And it's sad to say in 2026, I'm still walking into rooms where I'm still the only Black person. And that's a sad commentary to make in this, lets you know how far theater has gone. If that's still happening. But I've been able to deal with it. Like I said, I had the confidence to go in and do what I need to do.
So, Ashley, piggybacking off of that same thought and sentiment, do you ever find yourself having to code switch or shrink yourself in any of the moments or environments that you are in for survival? Or how do you combat that?
I'm a little too tall to hide, for one. I think being from Howard County, Maryland, had always put it in somebody's head that there's some sort of code switch to the way I speak or anything of that nature. And that's just kind of not the case. I think my adaptability has made other people comfortable because you're only going to get one version of it. I feel like Noelle's known me long enough to know, and some of the other people in the panel who I'm sitting here with, and the conversation we have after this is exactly the same. So consistency for me is the part that's brought comfortability a bit. I have an aunt who toured for years as a road manager with the Eagles and a couple other spaces, predominantly white male spaces. And she's a Full Sail alumni and a Hall of Famer. And I went to a panel of hers at the school one day, and someone asked her, how does she feel about code switching? And she looked at me in the back of the room and was like, what are they asking? Because she had never heard the term. That's how much it's not even a dialogue in my family. Mm. So I like what I like. I speak how I speak, and I can publicly speak, and I can have this conversation with you back home on the other side of town where I'm from, and there won't be any discerning in it. So for me, it's not force. It's not being direct. I've just been authentically comfortable about how I present and how I enter these rooms. And you really kind of got to take it. Because the first thing someone's going to say to me is, oh, wow, you're really tall. So it's not the first thing someone says. And I've had a female of color in the game in a room full of white men. So I didn't even know that there was a disparity because I had one. Didn't know that she might have been the only one for a long enough time because she never treated it as such. She was at work. This is how it went. Nobody talked to her sideways. She ran what she ran, and we went on with the day. So I think for me, the consistency has made my sense of comfortability because you're either hiring me for my skill set or you're going to hire someone else, but that doesn't change the fact that I left a good impression.
Love that. Noel.
Can I?
Oh, yep. Go ahead.
Real quick I don't know if the code switching was for a question for me as well. The only thing I would say about code switching, yes, I have code switch, but it's only on the telephone. And again, I'm sure some of you all don't remember. There was
Turning on the telephone when people think you're white and they meet you and they're like,
yes,
oh,
yes. So I would do that
you're
because
tall.
remember, I came along during the time there was no internet, there was no Google. And I was told early on when I got to grad school that Kathy Perkins is a white name. So when people would call me for work, I would call them. They would assume I'm white because of my name and because I had a union card and I had an MFA. And that's the only time I would code switch. But I would never code switch when I was in a room with people. So it's only when I'm trying to get that job.
The joys of having a European.
I do think being able to professionally speak saves us all.
Yes.
And I don't think that that's code switching, being able to
No.
hold a professional dialogue. And if you think that that's code switching, you aren't going to get very far. I just want to be clear. But being able to properly write an email and constructively talk to somebody is priceless in the bigger picture.
Well, I would code switch in the sense that I would raise my voice maybe 1 or 2 octaves higher. So, hi, this is Kathy. No. In that sense.
Were you throwing it to me, Shayla?
I was going to say, what about you, Noel?
Similar to Ashley, in terms of who I saw first. My first mentor is another Department of Theater Arts alum, Theron Knight Blackman, or TK, as we call her on the road. Theron, she's a Black woman. I never thought I couldn't. I never thought, what if, because I saw her do it. So it was just like, oh, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. And in terms of being the only one, the way I came up, I came through the department, over to Crampton, then down the hill at the Howard Theater, from like 2012 to about the pandemic. At a certain point, I would say probably 2017 to 2020, we had an all-Black crew, from the production manager, lighting, audio. We have Franklin Neesmith here, who is one of our audio engineers at Howard. Crescent Haynes, she was as well our monitor queen, Crescent. We had Malik Hayes as our production manager. And between the 4 of us, which we call ourselves the Fader family, we were the youngest Black crew for a DC venue for a very long time. All department heads, we were all under the age of 30. All under the age of 30. And so from that, I got pulled. I went to the Fillmore. That was my first time being in a white venue. Didn't realize it until I noticed sitting in the break room that I was the only Black. But then going from there, I got pulled out of that venue and then into like a Black production company, a Black touring production company. So I was really sheltered. I say all that to say this past year, I was on the road with an Australian folk band, Hollow Coves. We had about 4 different passports and I was the only Black woman in our van. And that probably was, it was a little uncomfortable. But I had to remind myself, like, no, I belong here. It's different. That's really what it was. It was just different. But I still carried myself the same. I know how to control a room. I know how to lead, and I don't second guess that. I don't ask for permission. I am here just like everyone else. So yeah, I have been the only, I've been the only Black person. I've been the only woman. I was on tour with Wale. I was subbing, and the LD is a man, and I was the only woman on the bus. And I basically just said, like, everybody has a mama, act accordingly.
And there is a part of it where I do think sometimes men, if you're the only girl on the bus, only woman on the bus, there's a part where I think they can't be themselves, thinking they're being rude because you are there if they talk how they are going to talk. And this is a male dominated space. So I know the topic you're about to get into. I know the chick you're bringing that's not your girl. I know all the things in between it. Be comfortable as I'm going to be, because I'm going to enjoy myself on this bus.
Yeah.
And to the other people, we live here together. So who you are and what your day looks like is kind of important. And when you want to decompress, some guys really want to be like, that girl drove me up a wall. And sometimes I have to be like, I'm going to let them get that off really quick. Now stop what you're saying. You got it out, but everybody wrangle themselves.
Don't be disrespectful, but just be comfortable.
I will kick you off this bus.
Well, now that we are leaning towards a co-ed conversation, I want to hone in on these guys that are with us today, and really talk about the work that happens behind the work, what people do not see. So this is a question that I'm going to toss to Major, Steve-O, and Joyce. But I want to know, what do people not see about the work that it took to get you to where you are today? Like, what is something that people often misconstrue or skip over?
Well, if you're starting with me, correct?
Yes, sir.
So I will say, when you hit big, when you score a big win, people don't realize what it took to get to that win, because the win looks so amazing. And that serves two things. One, that it will be worth it when you get to the win. But what it took to get there is often tedious, is often strenuous, it's often unfair, it's often frustrating, it's hard. There's a lot of years that it took to get there, or a lot of time that it took to get there, a lot of pivots. I think oftentimes people think that because it's such a great win, and I just have a feeling like on this particular panel, it's full of really excellent outputters. So we all deliver well. So often people think, oh, it must be easy because it looks so good on the other side of it. But I know for myself, I endure this thing called rejection a lot on the way. There's a lot of no's that are going to be a part of the journey. And I think we have to just acquaint ourselves with what that reality is. You will hear more no's than you do yeses, but it's the mentality that allows you to endure and to persevere anyway that makes the difference. So I think it's one of the things that doesn't get noticed as much is how many no's and or rejection you have to weather through to get to the ultimate finish. It's a lot. I have this that I would offer to anyone as my mama's favorite hope dealer. I would say reacquaint yourself with no, not as you're not qualified for the opportunity. It's just that's not your door. And you will find your door, you will find your avenue if it's meant to happen. And most of the time, if it's a download and passion has started to kind of curate that feeling, you know that it's meant to be. So just stay the course, reset in mind, and keep going. I'd say NO is a new acronym for next one, because if it ain't this one, I'm gonna get the next one. So that's what I offer.
How do you follow that? I'm still in the NO acronym, bro. That's excellent, man.
It's yours, bro. It's yours. It's for all of us.
It's already in the pocket. But for me, man, I tend to consider myself like a non-life human, man. I've worked in corporate. I have an experience in high-level ministry. I'm a pastor's kid. I've had some struggles and some challenges. I worked in academia and industry. And for me, I don't think people understand how many versions of me it took to get here to the place that I'm at now. There were seasons where nothing was visible. Like I was kind of building discipline before I had opportunity. And I also always wasn't aware of every season in my life and how it would play out for the bigger picture. There was times I felt like I was wasting my time, right? Working in corporate, but wanting to be in creativity. And then it turned out that was building the DNA and the muscle to make me a creative leader and to understand structure and systems and professionalism at a level that sometimes creative people don't always have that muscle built in and baked into their process. So for me, it was like a survival to structure transition at a point. And then learning like how to like leadership theory and how to get people on board, the difference between management and leadership, because in my space, when it comes to musical direction and production and on the university side, like I have 12 professors that report to me, and I don't have as much experience as they do. So like I have to inspire them to want to climb up a mountain with me and not just manage them and direct and tell them what to do. So again, for me, it's a lot, and it's kind of hard to bake it into one answer. But what I'll say is that um, leadership science is a real thing. I think just because you want to be in charge doesn't actually make you a qualified leader. So for me, it takes a lot of fortitude and development and intentional training to get to that point. And I'll say one more thing is, for me, one of the biggest things that gets overlooked is like the amount of thinking and structuring that happens before anything is ever heard on a creative scale. So like people see the performance in the show and the final product, but the hours spent organizing and anticipating problems and building systems and making sure everything works under pressure, like that is essentially the invisible work that you don't really get thanks for. It's a thankless job, so to speak. But the moment you don't do it, then you're in trouble. So those are the things that I think that might be challenging for people to see front facing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it's those hours that people don't see. Whether it's, someone could reach out to me and be like, "Hey, I had this idea for this event or for this video." And at school, I went to the Youth Performing Arts School in Louisville, Kentucky, but then also, especially those at Howard and have taken the classes, I did long hours with Epting, Reggie Ray, and Step. Step was my road dog because I was heavy into set, but those hours that it took, those go overlooked when someone, like on social media say, "Oh my gosh, my favorite DIYer." And I'm like, "Oh no, this should have been more than that." So I think that the time that's spent, drafting and drawing and doing all the things is not like, "Oh, I just come in with a vision or I shop for some things and then it's done." And then especially Howard's going to teach you not only how to do it, but to do it in excellence. So I think that training, that expectation while we're at school, while we're studying and while we're watching other people present and how we show up, I think is super important. That goes overlooked in how we present, what we present, and the work that we do beforehand, and like I said, people just see, the stories or the videos, or they attend the concerts and stuff like that. But that work behind, I think, is really what often goes overlooked because it looks sweet on the back end.
Can I say a salute to the pedigree that is Howard University? I didn't go there. That was one of the top, if I did do an HBCU, but for any students, I think they call them bison babies in here. For any students that are frustrated with why are they so meticulous? Why are they so such sticklers for better and quality? Just know that it's for the better making of what is to come for you and what is to come from you. And it stands out above the rest. Excellence has a way of assuring you never go hungry. So please lean into it. I just had to salute that because it never fails. You can tell, literally, you can pick a Howard grad from an audience, from a lineup, easily by the excellence of their output. Same with Morehouse and Spelman, but y'all three, like it's an excellence. I'm giving it to you. All right, good job.
We'll take it. We always say there's always a bison in the room. When 9 times out of 10 it is. We're short on time, so I'm going to skip forward a little bit. And I am going to shift the topic to leadership and representation. Ashley, why do you feel it's important for men to have women of color on their team and in production
Ooh,
as a whole?
you
I
want to
know
have a
I
fun
just
time?
jumped
You
into the
want,
deep end.
you want a fun, funny time? Go get a brilliant woman of color in your office. It's a witty day. I think that's a great question, actually. I think a lot of times women don't find out until you're in certain spaces that men want us there. Sometimes I do think that women sometimes will misstep thinking that they're not worthy of being in a room. And a lot of times you kind of got to get that noise out of the way and realize that it took one guy. I was in an office on Kanye West, and it was the St. Pablo tour. And the production manager was a wonderful fella, and he knew my aunt, and they all toured together. He's a great guy. And one day I came in, and he had like a face mask on. They had incense. They had dimmed the lights, and everybody took a mental break and just did this thing. And I said, well, what in the hell's happening in here? We got work to do. It's like 4 o'clock. And after the fact, I said, what was all that? He's like, I just love the company of women. You all know how to be present. You all know how to pause. You know how to explain yourself. And quite frankly, you're a little more organized than most of us. So I can leave you, leave you to tasks. I can leave the responsibility of things because you would protect yourself this way if it was your endeavor just as much as you would represent it to protect it for this person. And I think it took one man to tell me, I'm comfortable with you here, plus you crack me up. And then I was like, okay, well, there's no excuse. I can't be in here now. I just need to figure out what you're into and what your snack is, and we're good.
Well, I'm curious, Steve-O, what you have to say about the topic. Why is it important for you to work with women of color on your team and in your productions?
Primarily because that's what I come from. My grandmother, who I mentioned earlier, she was a single Black woman, and she fought her way through some significant struggles and essentially set us up for success in the long run. And my mother is one of the strongest and most successful and proficient and thorough Black women that I've ever encountered in my life. Um, I also owe my career in production and music industry to a Black woman. So I'll give her kudos right now. Miss Kim Burse is essentially one of the most elite and significant producers and musical directors in the history of Black music. Um, Beyonce, to name one, right? Not only was she a part of the signing of Destiny's Child at Columbia Records as an A&R, she was essentially the power and the force behind everything that we've seen from Beyonce and Destiny's Child from 1998 to about 2000 and maybe 12 or 13. And then she went on to do it again with Jennifer Lopez and Sierra and so on and so forth. So that woman gave me a shot. Um, it's really just that simple. And I to start at that level with someone like her as my mentor, I was able to really recognize the power and like Ashley said, the emphasis and the focus and the reliability that comes with that kind of that kind of prowess as a woman. So for me, it's a familiar space. So again, I just got to give a special shout out. I saw some thumbs up in the room for everybody who knows Kim Burse. If you don't, you should definitely look her up because again, just a very well decorated and well deserved Black woman in our space and a leader figure. So that's my testimony.
Well, I'm going to use the next question that's not on the list to transition us to the next topic, which is really about mental health. But I'm curious, Crescent, I'm going to direct this question to you. As a fine artist and a creator, how do you fully take up space and not shift to the environment that is around you?
That question is not on the list. How do I fully take up space? I would say, and this answer is going to kind of piggyback off of some questions that were already asked. But for me, at this point in my career, I am used to being like the only woman on the production crew, or the only Black person, or the only Black woman on a production crew. And when I was first starting out, like when I first graduated from Howard, I started working at 930 Club, where when I walked in there, I was the only Black person. And that was a first for me. And it caught me off guard, and I instantly felt uncomfortable. And I kind of had a chip on my shoulder at the beginning of my career, and I felt like I needed to prove to the fellows that I can do exactly what they can do, especially when it comes to the physical labor of our job. And yeah, so I often try to prove myself by taking up space in that way, trying to like be the first person on the truck, unloading, carrying all the heavy stuff. But I soon realized that me just being me having the attention to detail that I have, me having an assertive personality, especially as a monitoring engineer, is my way of taking up space. As that person on stage, I honestly run the stage, as a monitor engineer, making sure everybody has what they need, communicating with the artist and with the band. And so at this point in my career, I would say just my assertiveness, honestly, and letting everybody know what I need, so that we can have a great day and a great show.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. So now we're going to shift a little bit and talk about mental health in the industry, which is, of course, a topic that hits home for each and every one of us. So this question is for Major and Noel. Burnout. Burnout. Burnout is real, right? How do you know that you are nearing burnout? What does it look like to you, and what do you do to maintain your mental health in these high pressure environments?
I can take that one first. Well, if I'm holding on to Oscar, I know I'm on the verge. I'm on the way. But I think for me, I notice when I'm on the verge of burnout, if I don't take a nap, if I'm just running, and then I get frustrated, if I start to get flustered, I can, I guess, like catastrophize what could happen and go there with it. And I really just have to, like, I started practicing mindfulness because I worked myself into clarity, and I don't recommend it for anyone. I was working non-stop. I don't think I slept for maybe like 3 days. And I was just going and going and going until I had no more gas in the tank. And that showed me like it's not worth it. It's not. Like I used to also, like Crescent said, be the first one to always be standing. Don't sit. Don't look like you could go home. Like obviously you don't have anything to do, so you can go home. And that kind of stuck with me in the beginning. And I would be the overachiever just to make sure that I belonged, that I looked like I belonged, that my actions showed that I belong. Not the fact that I got hired, that I already designed this, that I'm killing it every night. I always would think like, okay, well, what else can I do? What else can I do? And now at this point, I have to just tell myself, like, you're doing enough. You're doing your job. Sometimes it's okay to stick to the job description. It's okay to stick to the job description because your paycheck stays the same. They're not paying me to do his job. They're not. They're paying me to do my job. They see your value. Rest in that. So yeah, for me, that's how I know like I'm really leaning towards burnout. If I just try to answer questions before they're asked. And sometimes the other party isn't even thinking about those questions. They just want to know, did you do your job? So that's one thing I can say. Did I get that, Shayla?
You nailed it. So, Major, want to chime in on this?
Yeah, absolutely. I will say burnout is never the reward of excellence. Burnout should not be the reward of generosity. Healthy, stewarded excellence, and generosity comes with measure, where you measure your output. Because when we activate in purpose, purpose is not going to neglect you while serving that which is receiving from you. When we activate in purpose, you too will be replenished at the same time that you're giving. And if you find yourself only dispensing without being able to identify a return, you need to abort mission, because that is not the environment for you. I will say this to this collective that I feel in my spirit. I'm a deep empath. We are the great achievers. We aim to do great things because we know how, we can identify what's missing. But I want to encourage us to realize that everything that we identify is not meant to be accomplished by us who see it. Just because it's an attachment does not mean that it's your assignment. Sometimes it's just for you to identify what the environment is full of and become one with yourself to then say, hey, I think I want to commit myself to that particular assignment. But just because you can does not mean that you should. Many of us are very gifted. As African Americans, it's been on us, particularly in the Western world, to deliver way more than what our white counterparts are often privileged to not have to deliver. So it's natural for us to always give more than what is required. And when you do that, you reestablish an unhealthy expectation of the person that benefits from your greatness. And while that's a beautiful thing, they get to enjoy the delight of your abundance. And now you're left over there trying to pick up your wig and find energy somewhere because you've already dispensed without consideration of your replenishment. I'll leave it here for the believers, and this isn't to offend anyone else, because I'm pretty sure that there's a philosophy in Buddhism that will line up right with it. But there's a scripture that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But what it doesn't say, I can do all things at once through Christ who strengthens me. Just because we can does not mean that is our duty. All right, beautiful people, with your great self, pace is grace. Catch your breath as often as you can. Command the rush, the hustle, the bustle of life to find the rhythm of your new pace. As a matter of fact, I will ask us all, everyone watching, everyone on this panel, to do this on the count of 3. We're going to catch our breath, because there's a whole lot picking at us and pulling at us and saying it's important, it's a priority, but your living is just as important. 1, 2, 3. Deep breath in. Let it out. Never let life rush you so much so that you forget to catch your breath. The benefit of doing so commands the rush of life to submit to the new rhythm that you established when you decided to catch your breath.
Amen. Come on, somebody.
Listen, you can give your collection at TogetHER.
And we got to split publishing on it for everybody.
We will edit that clip, but go back and watch YouTube at What's Up, Rhodey. But also transitioning us towards the end of this conversation, which this has been so powerful and so great. We have so many more things to discuss and not enough time, and we want to leave time for Q&A. So I'm going to toss one final question out to everyone on the panel. And that question is, if you could go back and give yourself advice about one thing to unlearn or one piece of motivation, what would you say to yourself 5 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, or when you started this journey? What do you wish you could have heard? And we can go out of order. Whoever wants to go next, feel free to jump in.
I'll go first. You know, in school, we were taught, again, I've been in the business 50 years, we were taught that success was Broadway, particularly if you're working in the theater. And it took me some time to realize Broadway was not success. It is for some people, but I think as a designer, as a creative person, you have to decide what success is for you. And I realized that success for me was working in regional theater, was working internationally. Working internationally in theater is so different from working here in the States. You don't have that type of pressure. It's not about we got to sell seats, whatever. We get the show when the show is ready when it's ready. I mean, to give you an example, the first time I designed a show in South Africa in 1997, this was like right after apartheid. I'm sitting in the theater. The show is supposed to open 3 days later. And the director says, let's just stop. It's a new play. Everybody go home for 3 days, get some rest and we'll come back. And I'm like, what? It's like, I have a round trip ticket. I have to leave on Friday. And he said, it's not about the lighting. He says, we're just not ready. We just can't open for the sake of opening. And then, my thing was, well, what about the subscribers? And that's a very Western concept. It's like, when the show opens, people come to the theater. If there's a sign saying we're not open, they come back because people buy tickets the day of a show. They don't buy them in advance and stuff like that. So I enjoyed working that way because you're not stressed out, you're not rushed. And that's one of the things I really enjoy about working internationally. And like I said, I like working in regional theater. I like working on new plays. And I realized Broadway was not for me. Broadway's for some people, but it's not for me. When I was teaching, I taught my students to be able to work anywhere, theater, dance, film, whatever. So you have to decide what is success for you, what's going to make you happy, not what's going to make other people happy.
I can speak next to this. I think one thing that I've had to unlearn at this stage is the price is the price. Okay. I think coming out of school, you have to put in your dues, you do things, you have to get your name out there. You take some of the gigs for free or you go and you shadow. But the moment you really start to get in your groove and the value that you bring, people are paying for whatever it is and they don't question or waver or go back and forth or have to negotiate whatever it is when they're going to these larger corporations. So when I think for myself, I have to say, okay, what is this worth? What is my price? And then I have to stick to it and I don't have to be reluctant or unsure about sending it. There's always nerves that kind of come, especially if you send in some amount of money, where your worth, what you want to bring. And so I think those nerves might come, especially when your worth and you're setting a price, but knowing your price is your price. And once you've started to reach that level where, you can name your price, you just go with it. You don't have to waver on it. You don't have to go back and then you can say, no, I can't do it. I'm unable to do it for this price or whatever it is. And so not backhanding myself when it comes to the what I'm paid is one of the things that I definitely have to unlearn. And I'm still telling myself, everything's not meant to be a service project, no matter who it's for, what it's for. And so that's what I'm constantly working through.
Can I piggyback on what Joyce was just saying? In this business, particularly Black women, we tend to get underpaid. And that's why some people need to have agents so an agent can negotiate your price. But as Black women, I learned this from experience years ago. We tend to get paid less than men and white women. So we have to know. I always like to know what other people are getting paid. If it's a union contract, I know what folks are getting paid. If it's what's called a favored nations, we get the same. But usually I'm curious as to what are you getting paid, or the previous lighting designer, particularly if it was a male, what did you get paid for the show? And particularly if we're in the same league. But we have to be careful. Women, Black women we are always paid less and expected to do more.
Absolutely. Anyone else want to chime in quickly before we shift to Q&A?
I'll chime in quickly. Yes, Joyce, amen for that. But something else that I'll also add that I'm still learning to do is speak up, especially when I feel uncomfortable. I've been in situations when I work with men who have made me feel uncomfortable, or I've just worked with a different type of group where there are cultural differences and I felt uncomfortable. And I'm always somebody who doesn't want to, shake it up, or complain or make somebody else feel uncomfortable. So I often keep it to myself and deal with it. I've had many a times on a tour bus where I'm literally in the bunk crying, because of something that happened or something that I didn't speak up about. So definitely speak up, advocate for yourself, let people know, what you need. And if they can't understand it and change so that you feel comfortable, then don't be afraid to walk away. Like, be grateful for that experience, but just know that it's not for you anymore, and keep it moving.
That's great, Crescent. I would add the thing I would want to tell myself, and I actively tell myself this still to this day. What is someone else's journey is their path. Being one of a few Black women who tour the world doing lighting, I would compare myself to others. Like, okay, well, I got to make sure that I do this. I got to do the drafting, the programming, the time coding, the designing, the this, the that, because I see somebody else doing it. And sometimes it's like, no, you can sit in your position. Like, I own being a lighting director. I have a team. If I need, if I have a large account, I have some people that I work with. They may assist me in designing. They may assist me because I'm not the best. I'm not the best in every single aspect of it. And I know now how to ask for help and support. Like, for example, I'm not the best with networking. I don't like it at all. But it has to be done. But if I'm coming into a tour, I see what I need to carry and what I need to make sure happens. So I advocate and ask for support. If I don't have a tech with me, then when we're, if I'm traveling with a full ground package and I know that what's not my strong suit is when we get to patching and networking into different houses and different venues, I need somebody that can do that, that's from the venue. So I may request from my production manager or my tour manager, like, okay, we're not bringing a tech, which means I need to make sure that the rig is good and circuited correctly and it's working like it should be. In order for me to do that and focus on that, we need to make sure that someone from the house understands networking, that they can do that without my assist. They can handle that part. Can I hand that off to them? And that's just for me knowing, coming from a venue, it's your system, it's your house, you should know it. I should know my rig and my system. So it's just understanding that you don't have to carry everything. Like, there's a reason there are programmers, there are technicians, there are stagehands. I travel, I have back issues, I have different medical conditions. And so I don't hide from that. I tell my crew when I get there, hey, I can't lift this, but I can show you where it goes. I don't have to lift up these 50 pounds because I got to build this rig for the next 4 or 5 or 6 weeks. So I got to make sure that I'm good and not stress myself out, what we were talking about earlier with burnout. So that's just something that I'm still telling myself, like, you're doing good. You run your race. They're running theirs. Just focus on your lane.
I would probably say I am a stickler for self-sufficiency. I think you can get really far in life if you can be left to your own responsibility of these tasks. I don't mean someone coming over you and micromanaging. I mean the relationship of you being comfortable to dictate and lead without constantly having to ask somebody, am I doing this right? Am I doing this right? If you're an overthinker, there is nothing worse than waiting for reassurance that you really are should be giving yourself. You wouldn't have been in the room if you weren't deserving of being there, for one. I'm also a big advocate of reverse engineering. There is someone out here that you admire. There is someone that's had a path that you don't know, has all of these twists and turns, like Steve-O had said, in different versions of themselves. Find people that you're into and literally either know them and ask, or look into their path and see how they got there and how they started. And I cannot stress enough, the computer softwares that you need for your department of what you desire to do, become a master or an expert of them. Get certified in them. You will be touching them for the rest of your career. So for me, I'm a person that tried to avoid Excel in a certain sort of way, not knowing I'd spend the rest of my natural born life on Excel or in accounting with QuickBooks and all of those things. So every department has their thing, but I'm a big advocate, and as a mentor, I suggest to everyone, get your hands on this book. It's called Strength Finder 2.0. It's a fun little quiz. And if you're honest with it, it will tell you the strengths that you bring as skills to any team, leader, or member. Do not deny yourself the access to the thing that is the most comfortable for you to bring to it. There's plenty of things we can build, but the things that you actually bring effortlessly to something will take a lot of space out of your mind in your overthinking.
Well, thank you everybody for participating. We now want to open it up for Q&A. We probably have time for about 3 direct questions for any one of our panelists. I know there's a microphone in the audience, so we would love to hear from you guys.
Okay. I'm going to stand up. But hi, my name is Cherie Pickett. I'm a BFA acting major from Detroit, Michigan.
Hey,
And
come on.
And I was just wondering if you guys, with all the extensive knowledge that you had and all the different shows that you've worked on, if you were starting at ground zero but still had that knowledge, what would y'all do differently, or what would y'all keep the same?
I would have locked into my local arena from the break.
I can actually answer that. So when I was at the Howard Theater, I would still do this the same. Down at the Howard Theater, at that time, we were doing like 50 shows a month, and there's only 30 days. But what I would do was go in on dark days. Any dark day we had, I was in there. I would go through other people's show files. I'm the type of person that works my way back. So I want to see how it looks finished. And then I go into like different parameters and read like, okay, that's what these degrees mean. That's what these parameters mean. And then I would build my show file. And I remember one time I was in there maybe about 5 hours, and it got to the point I couldn't figure out where the clear button was. Button I've used all the time, and it didn't move. And I was like, okay, I think I need to get up and walk away for a little bit. But I would still keep that. Because that eagerness I wanted to light everything. Like I started lighting go-go shows, and it got to a point where I was like, nobody, you come to me when they go-go show. If I'm not available, then you can open it up to everybody else. But the go-go shows really helped me in my design style, my operating style, and really like on that. I like to call myself a percussive lighting designer, because that's how I came about. Like that's really the stuff that I learned. I would just do all of the shows. I didn't care how late it was. If it was on a daylight savings time where it was an extra hour added, I didn't care. I just used that time. I was like, I would rather be here learning, getting paid, even though it's a little, but getting paid something to perfect my craft. So that's something that I would definitely keep.
So next question.
Do we have another?
I recommend to every young person, please find a mentor, because I wouldn't be where I am if I did not have wonderful mentors. Like I said, at Howard, at Crampton, I would always ask supervisors questions. When I moved to New York, I was in New York for a short period. I would call designers that I really respected and say, "Can I come in and sit on in your rehearsal and watch what they're doing?" Never be afraid to ask people. And people who've gone before you, who know the ropes better than you do, you need them. You know, everybody should have a mentor. Um, you know, like I said, I wouldn't be where I am if it wasn't for a lot of my mentors. Shirley Pendergrass was the first Black woman on Broadway. She was major in my life. In fact, she said, you know, don't spend a whole lot of time being an assistant. Start doing your own shows, you know, even if they're small shows and people will come to see them. And you treat every show, no matter how small the budget is, like it's a major show, you know. So again, one, get a mentor. That's crucial. And that's why I like this title, Together We Win, because we should be looking out for each other. You know, we should be helping each other. You know, if I'm on shows and I see some young person is being exploited, I'm going to say something. And that's what we should do when we get to a position of power. We need to look out for each other.
I will add to that that sentiment about getting a mentor. I would challenge you all to ask why.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah.
I asked why all the time. My mentors, I did homecoming. I was on the homecoming steering committee as a student and working in Crampton. There were things that I learned in the classroom, but then once I got into the field, if I saw someone doing something a different way, I would ask, why are you doing it that way? I know how to do it my way, but is the way you're doing more efficient? Or is it the same amount of steps, just a different approach? Always ask why. It's okay. It's all right. It's okay to just be like, why you do that? How you do that? Can you teach me that?
I'm notorious for asking every other department on my tour what they're doing. Why they're doing it, can I touch it? What are you touching? What is that? That's kind of probably how Noelle and I know each other best. Is me being like, oh, you're a lighting person? Oh, can I go to your console? Oh, can I touch it? Can I touch it? And she'll be like, oh, okay. And then I'll just do stuff because I'm tactile and I want to know what you're doing. So when you have a problem, I know where I need to fix it. It's not my stuff to fix, but I know what to say to someone to get it fixed.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. My name is Noah Green. I am a graduating senior TV and film major from Howard University. Yes, sir.
Almost there.
Almost there. I just appreciate all of you for the words of wisdom. Earlier, Major, you said that pace is grace. And as a filmmaker, I feel like I'm very passionate about a lot of things. So it's just like I find myself in a constant cycle where I'm always passionate about something, then I have to humble myself because it's just like, dang, like I couldn't get the opportunity. So being in this industry, when you say pace is grace, how do I pace myself and keep myself in a level when the opportunities are kind of limited in this job market?
Okay, firstly, congratulations. Congratulations on nearing the end and pursuing your dreams. I will say this, like if you listened to most of the panel, when we talked about early on that there will be times where you just won't be able to get a yes for something that you want to do. The champions are the ones that don't quit. And that's what I got to give you. If you're going to be a champion filmmaker, you cannot allow the idea of I wasn't able to get this one to be your definition of defeat. At the end of the day, it just shows you that that wasn't your door. There is going to be a door. Everything is not meant to be accomplished. You're going to, as a brilliant mind, and especially one that's curated in the halls and the classrooms of Howard University. And Howard owes me some money because I'm complimenting y'all a little too much. I come from the Berklee College of Music. I want y'all to know that's the top contemporary music college in the world, just so we're clear. I come from high pedigree as well. Nevertheless, broski, I want to say that it's kind of going to be inevitable for you to not have an abundance of ideas and really amazing ideas and a lot of things you want to conquer and achieve. But all of it won't be conquered and achieved at once and in the same season. Sometimes we receive passion for great exploits before it's time to pursue them, just to prepare our development for what's to come. So conquer what you can, and whatever's before you, treat it well. Like, treat it like it's the big opportunity. Ryan Coogler treated Fruitvale like it was Sinners. And the reason we talk about Fruitvale in the same sentence as Sinners is because he honored what was his portion in front of him as if it was the last thing he'll be remembered by. So there's going to be small projects, there's going to be big projects, there's going to be a lot of things that you want to accomplish. Tackle one beast at a time. And sometimes you may be able to tackle more than one, but don't stretch yourself to where the best of you can't show up for at least the one thing that's in front of you. I hope that helps you, bro. Let me know. Say something back.
It does help me, man.
All right, buddy. And I'm also an actor, so when you got some roles, I want to audition.
And my father worked here, so I wasn't an alumni as the other beautiful people speaking. But one thing I can say is that being a friend who helped all the friends do their senior student films late at night in the basement of this place, one thing I want to say to you, and I love all the nods, is that as a filmmaker, the difference you have and maybe the fields that we have is you have a space to do iconography and identity building of yourself and how you express yourself. So, like he had said, the thing about Coogler is like Coogler figured out there was an ancestral plane and he showed it. And now he's shown it twice and you're hooked. There is a thing that you have in you that is the thing that you want us to know is you. Kubrick has it. Everyone's got their thing. And I think nourishing and figuring that out will build the world that you want to build of the stuff you want to do, in my opinion.
Yeah, I want to add just one thing to the younger brother's question and point. Major's spot on today. I think everybody's inspired, even the panelists, especially on the Paces Grace thing. I would say that the portion of pacing that you need can be seasonal. So Major just said this at the end of his last response. You might be able to do more than one thing at a time for this particular season. So there's been seasons in my life and careers where I could take on a lot. I'm like a sprinter, so I can go very, very fast for a season, and then I need to slow down and take a break and replenish and not just relax, because relaxation is rest, but replenishment gets you the energy to go again. So I would say when it comes to season opportunity, just be honest and truthful and introspective about how much capacity that you have and how much energy you have to give to the next task, because you might be in a season to where, you know what, I can take on a lot right now. I don't have a lot of distractions. I don't have a lot going on. And that might be the season that you double down. And then, for the next one, you reassess and you determine what you can output for that particular season. So it's not one dimensional where I need this amount of I need this particular pace portion and this amount of grace for every season and every task. I think it's circumstantial.
Very, very solid, Steve-O. Very solid clarification, because there will that and this is a part because of the powerful ladies that are on this panel and their area of expertise and profession requires planning and time management. So you want to be mindful that time management has to go into everything before you start a thing. Write out, like, what will it take for me to do or to accomplish this? And when you see it on paper, it gives you a realistic viewpoint to say, oh, well, in this season, I won't be able to do all of that because this is all of the things that this particular assignment requires. And then you won't punish yourself for not being able to do it, because you can see on paper that if you tried, you're not going to give it the best of you. And then being close to the finish with raggedy, unfinished stuff is a poor reflection of who you are. You want to, at least, if you can only do one thing and do it well, at least at the finish, you got something pretty brilliant to showcase. You don't want to come dragging all your stuff to the end of the finish line trying to prove people, no, I'm good. Just give me a shot, you know? Yeah.
It is called advancing for a reason. There is
That
time
part.
to advance your life. There is time to advance your goals. There is time to reverse engineer. And like he had said, you know, the pacing that you give it and the honesty that you give yourself. Because I'm a big advocate of being timely and honest. You could be one or the other, but you're going to lack if you don't do it at the same time. So don't lie to yourself and give yourself the time. I promise it will all roll itself out.
Yeah.
All right, so we have come to the end of our time together. Thank you all so much for those who did get a chance to ask questions. I am going to ask each panelist to answer one final question. It's really a statement. And after your statement, please let the audience know where they can find you, follow you, all of the things. And we will close this out. But the statement is, leave us with one sentence that you would like for everyone in the room to carry with them beyond today. And I will give you the order. Let's go Joyce, Kathy, Crescent, Steve, Major, Ashley, and then Noelle. And then we will go ahead and close out.
Yep. So just considering our audience and knowing we're students at Howard and we know the many opportunities that come, I think we do have to, I know we talk a lot about capacity. I think also, especially with the last question, being okay and knowing what you could hone in, work on, and all of that when you have absolutely zero projects or zero opportunities for you at the moment, I think is something to get comfortable with. And for you to see, you know, what can I be doing? Technology's new. Who can I be reaching out to? Who can I be connecting with? That's a thing. But I think my biggest thing, which is what my mom has always instilled in me since I was in high school, learning technical theater from jump, was I can do all things through Christ. I know we said it beforehand and we talk about the parameters around it, knowing our boundaries and knowing what our capacities are. But I think really knowing anything that you want to do, you can do with God, through Christ, with your higher power, whoever it is, but just knowing and believing that you can do it, believing in yourself. And that doesn't matter which lane, which avenue, if it has nothing to do with productions or any of that, just knowing that you can do anything that you absolutely want to do. That's it. Oh, and you can find me at Joy Milf, JoyMilf is the first three letters of my first name, first three letters of my last name, Joyce Milford, on everything.
Okay, I just want to say, be passionate about what you want to do, and you have to define your own success. Like I said, it took me a while to figure out what success meant to me, not what other people think. And the worst thing you can do is comparing yourself to other people. That's one of the downsides of social media. People are spending too much time comparing themselves with other folks. Find your own success. Be passionate about what you're doing. I'm not a big social media person. I am on Facebook, Kathy Perkins. I know most people don't do Facebook, but that's where I am. My website is kathyperkins.com. And thank you, Noelle, for putting this panel together. This was great.
Yeah, I'll say learn every discipline, learn as much as you can. Like even if you're an acting major, learn how to hang a light, learn how to solder a cable, learn how to use a power tool, learn how to use a sewing machine, because not only can you be more valuable to others, but you can be more valuable to yourself, especially when you start doing your own productions or producing your own things. So just take the opportunity as a student to learn every single discipline that you can while you're there. And my website is crescent.com, literally CRESENTWITH1C.com.
Yeah, I would say learn the difference between success and purpose. Those are muddled often. Success is external, it's measurable, it's what people can see and point to and validate. Purpose is internal, it's alignment, it's It's whether you're actually doing what God designed you to do. You can be successful and still feel unaligned, and you can be in purpose and not look successful yet. So for me, I was chasing success because it was proof of belonging. But over time, I realized that success without purpose, it didn't really bring me peace. It just brought more responsibility. So I try to make decisions based on alignment now, because purpose sustains you, but and success amplifies what's already inside of you. So I will leave you guys with that. And my Instagram handle is already in my name tag here at Steve O the Producer on all platforms. And again, I'm so excited and honored to be here with you guys today.
Major, you got next, and then Ashley.
Okay. I will say thank you for having me. And the message I will leave with everyone is: far too big is the sky for only one bird to fly. And oh, how beautiful is the night when more than one star shines. That basically means there is room for all of us to win. Lock into your distinction, keep it excellent, and stay ready, because when the time comes, it's embracing the person ready to go. My name is Major. That's the name my mama named me. You spell it all capital letters with a period artistically. I am found on social media at Now That's Major. NOWTHATS, Major. And this is why I love you. Yeah, baby.
My go-to quote is tattooed on me: first things first, second things never. It's pretty self-explanatory. Procrastination is your fear dictating your certainty, and you have it. I am a very big advocate of what Major was saying. There really is enough for everyone under the sun. There really actually is opportunities and spaces looking for you. But if you don't broaden your horizons and get outside and meet someone different, like they had said, get to know your other department heads and get to know your other departments, the people who are your peers in all the different spaces that you meet them, you will spend the next decade existing with them, whether you think it or not. And I don't mean school, I mean in your field. So first things first, don't procrastinate. You've got time to do other stuff with that time.
Awesome. So before Noel closes us out, I just want to say thank you to everyone who was a part of today's panel. It has been a pleasure to host with you all. Ashley, I don't think you gave us your handle, did you?
Oh my goodness, I didn't. I have a YouTube channel, Ashley Alexander TV, and my handles on Instagram are the Ashley Alexander and Bat Buddha. Yes, that figurine really does have its own Instagram. I'm not playing with y'all. He means more to a lot of people.
I love it. I can't wait to follow Bat Buddha. I am Chayla. I am at Lyric, like song lyrics, Monet, like money with a T instead of a Y, on all social media networks. And if I could give any piece of advice to those who are in the room and listening, and even on the panel, I would say you are the only you. You have a dream and a vision for a reason. Find your voice, use it confidently, and watch the world shift as a result for the better. So I will toss it back to Noelle, and she will sign us out.
Thank you, Shayla. Thank you, everybody. I would leave everyone with, if I can do it, so can you. I have, like I said, it took me a good while to get out of Howard due to having to leave medically. I have a lot of things that I don't look like, that I overcome and then I deal with. I want you to know that any personal struggles, mental, physical, your health is important. But you don't have to hide everything. You can do this. You don't have to second guess yourself because you need a mental health day. That's okay. It's okay to prioritize your peace. Put peace in your budget. It's not always financial. It's time. It's effort. be intentional. Yeah, pardon me, I'm a little emotional, but thank you, everyone. I want to thank our platform, our sponsors. We have Acoustech Live is our audio sponsor here, ensuring that we have all the recordings and really documenting this. And Musilog with Sam Archer, he is our broadcast engineer and sponsor for this platform. Thank you so much to both of you. Thank you to the college, the Chadwick A. Boseman
My
College of
brother.
Arts.
Yeah, that's
I
great.
miss him so much.
At
Oh,
the
man.
illustrious Howard University. I feel so honored to be able to come home and launch this platform and this series, this experience. This is just the beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg. We have so much more to offer, not only here in Washington, D.C., but everywhere. We definitely have the capabilities to connect everyone from across the country to this one moment and this one this experience for everyone. Again, thank you. If I can leave you with anything else, lean into, like Crescent was saying, other areas. So not only am I a touring lighting director, I am a backline technician, full backline Latin and concert percussion. I got my degree down the hill at in the School of Communications. I am a television production major, technical theater minor with a focus in lighting. I was able to marry everything. I love live. I stage manage, production manage, any space that I can get into. I perfected. I learned. I asked questions. I mentored, made connections, and networked. And I am honored to be able to bring that to you all now. Take advantage of us. Take advantage of the community that hopefully we are aiming to create here. My social media handles personally is no.soraya, Noe.Soraya. That is my professional title, Noel Soraya. We have the To Get Official Together We Win Instagram page, which is @_ Together We Win. And What's Up Rhodey, which is WHATSUPROADIE. That is on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, all of the things. You can find our past episodes of the What's Up Rhodey, How You Doing podcast, which focuses on mental health and live entertainment professionals and how we ensure our mental health in this crazy world, this fast-paced environment. So again, thank you all. Thank you to the students that are here. Thank you to my panel. Can I get everyone on the stage again? Can we see everybody, Sam? Okay, maybe not. But thank you all. Thank you. Shayla, Joyce, Major, Crescent, Kathy, Steve-O. And one last fun fact. I have lit Major before.
Was it the PJ Morton?
It was at
Because you named the venue, and I'm like, I wonder if she was the lighting person at my concert with PJ. Yo, I'm honored.
I'm one of PJ's lighting designers, as well as I was a contractor at the Kennedy Center. I don't know what's going on now.
Oh,
but
yeah. Oh, Lord. Yeah, Lord.
Yeah, we'll get to that
Right.
offline.
Exactly.
So that is another fun fact, and also another way to show exactly how small this world is.
That's right.
So everybody, you're going to meet everyone again at least once or twice.
And shout out to Steve-O's family, who clearly was a lot of our virtual audience.
Okay.
I like that type of family support.
Don't leave home without them.
You win, bro. You win from your mama, grandma, all of them.
Everybody, man. I love them so much.
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to get off of this live. Again, we're going to ask our panel to still stay on our stage, but the broadcast will now come to an end. Thank you, everyone. You can also go to my website, which is www.breedcreativity, that is BREED, creativity.com. You can find all information, all of the episodes of What's Up Roadie. They're on the YouTube channel and on our website. So thank you again, and we're out. Thank you.
Are we good?